Hello everyone, and welcome to round 3 of our SimHound IDTT trophy here on the original South course, and making up season 6 of 2025 here at oNiD. We're here at the magnificent Road Atlanta circuit. Very high speed, very flowing circuit, and one that I'm sure the drivers will enjoy as we're rounding out the first half of the season. After being at the tighter, more technical tracks of Walton Park and Knock Hill, drivers get stretch their legs a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how they fare around this circuit, how they deal with corners such as the S's, which we can see in the background over the curbs. It will be interesting for sure. 2 rounds in, then let's have a little look at how the standings fare. With 1 drop round applied, so technically best weekend so far is Alfie Bevan at the top of the standings. James Le Pivot not too far back, 9 points, but you can see how strong of a weekend they've had. No one else getting close. 46 points behind is Johan Karlzak in 3rd, with Rory Shore Ash Hill tied 50 points back from the lead in 4th place. And you can see everyone down to the 20 drivers we've had in the series so far. Let's have a little look at those Pro-Am classes as well. Of course, Alfie Bevan leads the Pro standings, all the way down to Stevie Bain, who's unfortunately at the bottom, only 40 points. He'll be hoping for a good round tonight to try and make up for the disappointing first round in, unfortunately, had to miss Knock Hill last week. Over in the AMS class, it's Sean McGardle who's looking very strong. 18-point gap ahead of Anton Kankos in second. Kronablitz rounds out the podium with Alex Wood. Ben Beams not too far behind. They could be strong. Adam Ede has shown some good pace at times, just unfortunately hasn't quite been able to convert it to a good round of results. As you can see in the background, everyone is getting going for qualifying. So let us have a little bit. Let's see our drivers. It is Jacob Hine who's got themselves to the front of the field. 17 drivers with us this evening. We might have an 8th pop in a little bit earlier. As you may have noticed, based on different from last week, Aidan Hard, unfortunately not able to join us. He is having technical issues with his PC, so it'll just be me, myself and I tonight. And Ben Myatt said he was going to be here, but he might be a little bit late. He's been out all day, so hopefully can get him in and have an 18 car grid. Okay, consider drivers heading down to the chicane and now making their way up towards the final corner. Very fast corner start lap. Let's go on board, shall we, with Jacob Hine for a first flying lap here in qualifying. 8.5 minutes remain. Down to turn 1. track starts to kink a little bit on entry. Very high speed, gotta be very committed. Use the track on exit, don't run too wide. That curb will sell the car. Blind crest as you enter turns 2 and 3. Use as much curb as you dare. Don't use too much though. You will invalidate the lap and get a cut penalty. Flat out through turn 4. It's by getting the line right through 5 and sort of the S's here. All marked as turn 5, strangely enough, on the track map. Flat out through first part, down a gear for the left-hander. Careful not to run too wide on the curb. Gravel there will punish you. Very high curb, so it can unsettle the car and slow you down as well. Then into turn 6, get the car in. You want to trail the brake off, not too much trailing from Jacob, and then get the car slowed down for turn 7. Slowest corner of the track, little bit awkward. Could be difficult in traction, but the front wheel drive cars makes this relatively easy, but so important of an exit. Slow speed corner onto the longest flat out section of the track. Track does start to go downhill a bit. This is where we'll expect to see the pushed passes used in the race for the extra 30 horsepower that they use. Then downhill as you get towards braking zone, brake heavy, swing the car into left-hander, keep it a little bit tight, open up the right-hander. If you get the line right, the second part's flat out, carries much momentum out of the corner as you can, as you're now flat out to the run to the line. You can shorten the distance a little bit to the final corner, but will tighten your line through and cross the line. It is a 127.0 is the benchmark, immediately being by James Pavot. Alfie Bevan, who's been dominating the series so far, only in P4, and it's Johan Kralzak beating Pavot by 7 thousandths of a second so far. So very close times at the top of the field. Let's have a little look further back. Sean McGardle coming across the line will go P6 overall at the moment, top in the AMS class. Stevie being mentioned, struggling a little bit, down in P12 now. Not the last of our pro cars, right? Sure, not getting having a great opening lap of session. 10-minute session though, so plenty of time for drivers to get a few more laps in. Let's go with Yuri Shore, who's sliding through turn 5. You can see the rear end stepping out. Let's go on board as I head towards turn 6. A little bit of traffic in front. That's Niels Branson, who's currently in 15th. Doesn't look to have had a great first lap either. Most likely an invalidation there. But a bit of slipstream here for Yuri. If Niels opts to give the lap up, this is going to be really beneficial for them. But of course, if Niels doesn't give up the lap, he is right of way. Yuri giving a little bit of a bump draft, maybe helping Niels out. So realizing, yeah, they're not going to get this lap in as they come towards the chicane. Will back out of it, and we'll have to find a bit of space. Niels now coming through the chicane as our top driver's not improving on this second lap. Towards the final corner, you can see Niels start taking a little bit of a shorter distance to the line then. Shorey will still improve despite being held up at the end. Niels still in 15th place. Shorey backing off, will try and find a bit of track space. Meanwhile, Adam here has gone to the top of the AMS class, or did briefly, as Kankos has now improved into the lead within AMS class. 5th place overall. Few pro drivers to bump themselves up. But let's go to Sean McGardle, who's coming through the S's. Let's get sector times and see who's improving. Quite a few people improving, most notably Zach Silver, one of our pro drivers that's still down in 7th place. Will want to jump in front of those AM cars coming towards the final chicane. Has got a couple of cars in front of them. They are pro cars. So as long as they don't back off, you should have the space to complete this lap unimpeded. Using all of the curbs on the apex through the turn 10 chicane. Now to the final corner. Some of these drivers very wide line, using a lot of the curb entering the final corner. Can see Adam Eli's gone up to 10th and Zach Silver up to 5th, jumping ahead of those those AM cars, sorry. But maybe they're gonna come back. Kankos now improving, only now 0.7 seconds down after the middle sector, coming into the chicane. Still at the top of AMS, but we'd like to put a little bit more space. It is currently just 36 thousandths of a second to or 38 thousandths of a second between Cankos and Adam. Sean McArdle only a further 36 thousandths behind, but not able to improve this lap is Adam Biva per final sector there. Pavot now coming up to the line is improving, but it's not going to be enough to beat out Johan. I think also losing a bit of time in the final sector. Alfie Bevan coming from nowhere, having an amazing final sector, will bump them up to the pole position we're sort of expecting from them, having been very strong for the 2 rounds so far in the season. Let's go to Adam Hill. Ash Hill, too many Adams in this series. Ash Hill, who's now on the back straight heading towards turn 10 chicane. 3/10 down on the pole time after the first sector is a personal best. Middle sector time here, has lost time. Needs a good final sector here to try and bump themselves. Currently 3 of our 8 pro drivers in and amongst the AMs. Yuri Shore and Stevie being the other 2. So Ash Hill then through the final corner. Are they able to improve? They will. It's up to 7th, but slots in behind the AMS leader. Let's go to Yuri Shore as Stevie Bean not improving in the middle sector, has lost quite a bit of time. We're about to see Yuri Shore's middle sector. It's still an improvement. Still needs a good final sector here if they want to hold on. If they do want to jump ahead of the AMP drivers, but running wide out of the chicane, I think that's going to invalidate this lap. I'll mean they need to go again. Stevie having a good final sector will pull up into 11th, but still wanting more is pulling over. Maybe we'll have one more attempt. Zach Silver being bumped behind Kankos, who has improved once more. Silver not in a great lap here. We'll get one more attempt next time around. Alfie Bevan completing another lap. Was purple in the first sector, 10th up, but lost time in the middle and final sector and ended off nearly 4 seconds slower than their fastest time. Let's see if Zach Silver has had an improvement in the middle sector. I think it might be a little too late. Or too much time lost in the first sector, perhaps. Not improving. Ash Hill just in front, having a better middle sector, is up on their time. Will want a good final sector here, though, to jump in front of, gain some positions, I should say, and doesn't improve. Lost some time in the final sector. Let's go to Yuri Shore, who's on the back straight, heading towards the final chicane. Drivers crossing the line now will be starting their final lap. Time is nearly out for this qualifying session to set the grid for our first 15-minute race. Shore 7/10 down on the pole time after the middle sector. Good final sector here. Should see them jump up, and it's up to P7. Again, just one AM car in front of them. Kankos with a really good time at the moment. And in the pits, Lucas Smits jumping up to P12 with their latest lap, 1:28.0. As you can see on the track map in the top right, a lot of our drivers in the first sector at the moment. Let's go to Johan Karlzak, who is purple in the first sector, 1/4 up on Bevan's time. Can he hold it through the middle sector into turn 6 now? Not the most confident on the throttle. The car just sort of understeering out. Then through turn 7. Didn't look too bad there. But Alfie Bevan is also improving with a purple opening sector as well. Down the back straight we go. Just the big braking zone, really. Just got to get the chicane right. But there's a lot of time to be won and lost. Most of our drivers have finished so far. Next car across line will be Niels Berntsen, who's just the driver in front. Currently down in 17th, last of our cars at the moment. What is up in the middle sector does improve, but doesn't gain any positions. It is an improvement for Johan, but it's not enough to topple Alfie Bevan, who we will see. That's actually Stevie Bean is just in front. The bottom of our pro drivers at the moment. Can he find a bit of time, some positions on this final lap? Jumps up to P9, and Alfie Bevan does improve in the final sector. Lowers their pole time to 1:26.610. That is 0.131 ahead, and then Adam finishing their final lap doesn't improve, will be in P11. So then, the grid for race 1, Alfie Bevan taking pole position, Johan Karlzak in second, James Pavot and Jacob Hein on the second row. Brilliant lap from Anton Kankos puts them 5th overall and in the lead of the AMS, ahead of pro drivers Zach Silver and Uri Shore, who are 6th and 7th respectively, putting 2 cars between them and the second place AM driver Sean McArdle, who'll be starting 8th overall. Steve Bain could only manage 9th ahead of Ash Hill in P10. Adam in 11th, have Kroneblitz in 12th, Lucas Smits in 13th, Alex Wood in 14th. Adam Ely not getting a great lap in, down in 15th, but they'll be in front of Ben Beams and Niels Berenson, who rounds out our 17 car field as we're about to head into race 1. As a reminder, everyone will get has a push to pass, not a push to pass really, but there is a push to pass system. Everyone gives 30 horsepower for about 10 seconds. Yeah, I think it's about 10 seconds. So not a lot of power, but that is just under 10%. These cars only with 310 horsepower. Bump that to 340. That is a nice little advantage, which could get moved on, especially with good slipstream down the back straight towards T1. Or towards the chicane, sorry. Everyone will get at least 15 uses. That's for those in the top 6. Places 7th to 12th will get 16 uses, 1 additional use, and then 13th to last will get 2 additional uses, so 17 in total, just to help them make their way up through the field. Uri Shore will definitely want to take advantage of that to try and get in front of Zach Silver, but not too long before we get started. Let's just make sure we are following someone on the front row as we are about to get underway. Lights now on your screen as drivers' engine revs will rise as the lights come on. And we're away then for our opening race. It's a good start from Johan as he gets great launch off the line, and with the inside of turn 1 should be able to take the lead here as they head towards T1. Well, Alfie Bevan try and hang it around the outside. A lot more momentum, gets the nose in front initially, but not enough speed. It'll be side by side into the S's. Who's going to hold? Johan with the inside for the first part. Bounces off the curb, pushes Alfie a bit wide into the grass, and will take the lead with that. Alfie coming under pressure from Pavot now, trying to take second place, and might do so. Yeah, it does slot in, and Zach Silver off into the gravel, just seeing that in background, into the wall. Will jump to the back of the field towards turn 6. Can see Alfie Bevan all over the rear bumpers. Jacob Hein is trying to fend off Kankos, who's, despite being in the AMS class, is trying to take a position from the pro driver. Instead, will lose out to Uri Shore, getting past Stevie Bain with a good start, using a push to pass on this opening lap. Jacob Hein, Shore opting to save theirs for later in the race, but look at this gaggle of cars as they come down the back straight. Let's just have a check. Alfie Bevan in the slipstream. Will he make a move into the chicane, or is he going to hold off for this lap? Will hold on for now. Further back though, Stevie up into 5th, trying to fend off Uri Shore, hangs it around the outside. Inside then for the second part of the chicane, will hold on to that position as it's nearly 2 by 2 a little further back. Kankos losing a couple of positions, but ultimately still in the lead of the AM class, which will be their biggest worry. Now into turn 1, everyone into single file. Sean McArdle losing out to Adam, who's used a push to pass down the start finish straight. Got past Sean, trying to make a move on Ash Hill, who seems to be struggling a little bit, but not quite able to. A couple of cars getting their tyres over the edge of the curb onto the grass, unsettling, and then big bounce off the curb as they come across back onto the track. A little further up in front. In fact, Sean McArdle using a push to pass to try and get past Adam Adam responding with the push to pass use, but maybe too little too late, hanging it around the outside of Sean onto the curb on the exit. And that might just allow Adam, yeah, indeed it will, to get back through. But Adam runs a bit deep into turn 7 and will heavily compromise their run down the straight. And with the push to pass still being on cooldown, they're very vulnerable to the cars behind. Lucas Smits using their push to pass to get in front. And Adam's going to slot into the slipstream, might lose one more place. Meanwhile, further in front, Alfie Bevan still in the slipstream, still on the push to pass. Not enough to get alongside Pavot this time round, and we'll have to wait. Meanwhile, Sean McGirdle, Lucas Smith's having a bit of a fight into the chicane. Looks like Sean McGirdle's been able to hold on to P9 for now. Look at the front, it is all closing up with the lap times. Alfie putting a lot of pressure on Pavot, but really helping Johan hold on to the lead for a little bit longer. Ashhill getting themselves in front of Kankos and onto the back of the rest of the pro cars. Kankos now, no cars between them and the other pro drivers, still 1.5 second gap between them that they can settle into and find a bit of rhythm. Let's go on board with Alfie Bevan as they jump over the curb on the exit of the S's towards turn 6, closing in with the slipstream, but it's very difficult to make a move into turn 6, a braking zone. Not long enough. You can maybe make a move into turn 7 if you're really brave, but again, the braking zone is just a little too short. We're going to go back to Ashhill and Kankos. Kankos trying to fight back at Ashhill, but they've been able to hold on for now. And look at that, all of the top 10 using the push to pass onto this back straight. Eventually they may run out of push passes if they keep using them so aggressively, but they do still have a few, just under 11 minutes to go. Most people are having at least 12 push passes to use. Adam down in P11, the only one with a little bit less. We have a little fight for P5 here. Uri Shore getting the move done on Stevie Bain, then using a push to pass once again on the exit to try and cement the position, and will do indeed. And Johan has had a very poor lap and has maybe nearly lost out to Pavot, but Pavot fighting, trying to take the lead, has opened the door to Alfie Bevan to take second place, and now Alfie can charge for the lead. Crucial mistake there, Sean McGirdle wide at turn 1, but so is Ben Beams mowing the lawn as they head towards the S's. Will get the car slowed down and get it back on track. Look at that bounce off the curb, though, really unsettling the car, and might lose them another position as they take to the grass to stay out of the way, not cause an instant. Adam Eli coming up onto the back, but just not close enough, and into the gravel once again for Ben Beams. Will be losing out here. Adam on the push to pass to get the speed and make sure they can get in front, but Ben Beams, couple of mistakes, will drop to the back of the grid as Zach Silver recovering after the mistake on lap 1, or maybe contact on lap 1, we didn't quite see it. Will up to 15th place now. Go up to Steve Bain, who's trying to come back at Uri Shore. Use that push to pass. You can see it's already run out well before the chicane, so relying purely on the slipstream. Looking to the inside, will they send on the brakes? No, gets on the brakes a little earlier and backs out of the move. But this has brought Ashhill up, who is now putting the pressure on. Ashhill, 2 more push to pass uses remaining than Stevie Bain, but Stevie, good run out of the chicane, has got themselves to the inside of Uri Shore, and they're side by side now. This has only helped Ashhill, who's got themselves in front of Stevie Bain, but it's the outside for the first corner. Stevie very authoritative, but maybe ran in a little bit too deep. Ashhill trying to get the cutback, but can't get back alongside. Will slot into line as they head into the S's, as they fight over 5th place. It's just allowing Jacob Hine to break away, who's find themselves a little bit of no man's land at the moment, with those in front just pulling away and those behind fighting and opening the gap up. Adam Ely getting themselves back in front of Ben Beams, who's still striking a wheel on the grass entering turn 5, left-hander, and yeah, that will cause them to slide wide onto the grass. At the front, Johan Karlzak trying to save a push to pass use. It's not working out as Alfie Bevan on the button has the run. Johan no choice but to respond with their own use of the push to pass. Now Alfie's runs out and Johan will get the advantage at the end of the straight. It'll be side by side entering the braking zone. Alfie trying to squeeze Johan to the inside, and it looks like it's just going to pay off. Alfie slotting in front, and look at that, Pavot trying to take advantage, push to pass on the exit, and he's going to go for the lead of the race to the inside of the final corner. Johan is going to try and make a comeback on Bevan, but Pavot has ran wide in their attempt to take the lead. They still got a little bit of push to pass side by side into turn 1. Pavot trying to hold the outside line, but it's too wide. They'll fall onto the grass once again, and they'll give up not just first, but second place as well. As they head into the S's, Alfie Bevan free in the lead, already pulling a 1 second gap immediately into the S's. And Pavot now, what could have been, just got to the lead, but couldn't keep the car on the track, has cost them fall to third. And they have one less push to pass than Johan in front of them, so that could make it a bit more difficult to try and get the place back up. A little further back, let's go back to this fight for P9, or second place in the AMS class. Kankos has opened up a 4.7 second lead over Lucas Smits. Adam in P3, and Sean McArdle's fallen down to 4th within the AMS class. And this little pack on the push to pass. Adam a bit later on the push to pass has given Sean an initial advantage. And Sean will have the inside as they go into the chicane, but will not be close enough to make a move. We'll get the move done on Adam, sorry. Not close enough to make a move on Lucas Mintz, but Lucas had a very poor run through the chicane, but backing the cars up, not able to take advantage. Sean McArdle, Adam just nowhere to go. We'll have to stay in line in 3rd and 4th respectively in the AMS class. No change at the front of the field, despite the push to pass uses. We're nearly 2/3 of the way through the race. Stevie being off in the grass. An incident with Uri Shore, which has seen Ash Hill get up to 5th place. Uri Shore has dropped to 6th. Kankos is now up in 7th overall, and trying to fight with Shore. Shore, quite a bit of front end damage there that could compromise them for the rest of the race. Kankos hanging it round the outside. It's the outside though for turn 7. Not a great place to be, but if you can carry the momentum on the exit, it can maybe work out. But Shorey cutting the outside line off in front of them, leaves them nowhere to go. And Stevie Bain is going to pick up both positions there, up to P6 overall. And in the AMS class, Kankos will have to sell for P, of course. Not a battle for class, within class for Kankos, but if they do want to get a good overall position, these could be important positions. A little further back, Sean McArdle and Lucas Smits are fighting side by side over 2nd place within the AMS class. Sean on the inside, a bit more cautiously. Lucas Smits able to hold on for now, and as trying to come back at the exit, Lucas Smits on the push to pass, so trying to use it defensively. Will hold on for now though. Scrubbing best speed off the final corner gave Sean a run, but nowhere to go with it for now. As Stevie Bain off once again on the outside of T1. Another little contact as they were fighting Uri Shore, and it's going to drop them towards the back of the field. And for good measure, they've just met Adam Elay on the exit, and also tipped him into the wall. I suppose if one friend is going to be in the wall, both of them should be. Well, we'll leave that for them to argue amongst themselves. Adam now using a push to pass to fight past Sean McArdle, who's dropped off the back of Lucas Smits. Maybe a little mistake at some point, maybe a bit of contact. But that's allowed Adam back up into the podium positions. Pavot, I think, has made a little mistake. Lost half a second last lap on Johan, and has only dropped to 1.5 seconds back. Sean McArdle using push to pass will get themselves back in front and back into 3rd place, though. Yeah, Adam down to 4 push passes. Sean McArdle 9 remaining, has a lot more. You can see 1.1 seconds lost by Pavot to Johan in 2nd. And that's how that gap has opened up at the front of the field. Only 3 minutes to go now. Things settling down a little bit after a couple of incidents, but still some push to passes to be used. Alex Wood down to 2 remaining might be in a little bit of trouble, who has an 11-second gap to Ben Beams. Might not be too bad. Let's go on board with Adam here in 10th overall. Looking on the back of Sean McArdle. They're starting to close up on Lucas Smits once again. But as we're getting towards the end of the race, Sean McArdle, having not even used half of their pushed passes, should probably get quite a bit more aggressive on the button to put the attack, put the pressure on Lucas Smits. But we'll have to see. Ben in chat, I no longer fear hell, for I've driven the M62 in a thunderstorm at night. That doesn't sound like the greatest of times. Shame you had to miss race 1, but we look forward to seeing what you can do in races 2 and 3. As you can see, Sean McArdle closing up on Lucas Smits. Luca going defensive, might give an opportunity to Sean if he can set something up here. Both of them on cooldown for push to pass. Much better run for Sean McArdle, but nowhere to go. Lucas Smits just holding a slight inside line, approaching the final corner. Adam using their penultimate push to pass. A bit of a run for Sean, but Luca very aggressive defending the inside. Can Sean hang it the long way round? They're going to try, and look at that, Adam trying to come through, but Lucas Smits shuts the door on the inside, and that allows Sean McArdle to take the place in contact between Lucas Smits and Adam. Both of them into the left-hand side wall. Both of them will drop down the order, and that promotes Chrono Blitz into the final podium place within the AMS class. Zach Silver will get P10 overall and isn't too far behind Chrono Blitz, trying to take one more overall position before the end of the race. We'll be going on to the penultimate lap next time around. Remember, it's 15 minutes plus 1 lap. Johan is putting a bit of a charge to try and close on to Alfie Bevan. Set personal best last lap. That was a 10th quicker than Alfie's last lap, and is using that push to pass. Going on to penultimate lap, Alfie Bevan will have 2 pushed passes remaining. Johan Karlzak with only 1, but you can see a little bit quicker as they head 3T1. Bit of a lock-up for Johan, but won't suffer too much as Chrono Blitz is into the pits. Something has happened there with Chrono Blitz. They've dropped out of the podium place within the AMS class, and they've returned to the pits. Unfortunate to see, we didn't get to see what happened there, but that now promotes Lucas Smits back up into podium place as we now go to Anton Kankos leading the AMS class, looking and sniffing at a P6 overall on a wounded Uri Shore after an incident with Stevie Bain earlier in the race. But Uri having a good run through the S's, dropping a bit of a gap to Kankos. Both of these drivers, quite a few push to passes remaining, so they can be a bit more aggressive on that button, try and use up what they have before the end of the race. Lucas Smits getting back past Zach Silver. I think Zach Silver running wide onto the gravel has probably gifted Luca the opportunity for P9 overall back, as Stevie Bain is having more fun times, it looks like, struggling, and has dropped to back for the field. Will make the place up on Chrono Blitz as long as they can keep going. I've the penultimate corner now. Uri Shore and Kankos, both of them using pushed passes at this part of the track, knowing that they're going on to the final lap. A little further back, Zach Silver back in front of Lucas Smits. And into P9 overall, we'll be trying to run away and solidify that position. A lot of other cars just spreading out. We'll go on board with Kankos as they continue to pressure Shore. 2 pushed passes for Kankos remaining, only 1 for Shore. That could maybe give an opportunity to Kankos as Shore runs wide. A bit of a slide through turn 5, sorry, and that allows Kankos to take the position. Both of them using pushed passes towards turn 6, but with Kankos having 1 more remaining, I have to imagine Uri Shore will have to settle for a 7th overall. But meanwhile, at the front, from pole position, though, a poor start, dropping Alfie Bevan to third place. Set to fight back. It wasn't made easy by Johan and Pavot, but in the end, it will be Alfie Bevan that prevails and takes the victory for race 1 here at Road Atlanta in our Audi TT Trophy. Johan will take second, Pavot will take third. Jacob Hein will miss out on a podium, taking fourth as, mistake maybe, Yuri Shore trying to come back at Kankos has made a move work for P6, but Kankos will be using their final push to pass the start-finish line immediately on the exit of the final turn here. And with a run, Kankos, if the start-finish line was at the end of the straight, he would have got P6 back, but it is not. In the end, we'll have to settle for 7th. It is still the victory in AMS class. Zach Silver losing out to Lucas Smits in the final sector. We'll have to settle for P10 overall. So some interesting fights to end the race, but ultimately fights for overall position rather than positions within the Pro and Am classes. So we just have our final drivers. Brenson will be the last car to finish. Last car on the lead lap, that is Adam Ely, Stevie Bean, both being lapped. Chronoblitz returning to the pits with a few laps to go. Not sure what happened there as they were in podium position. Maybe forgetting to adjust fuel. But yeah, that is the end of our first race results. A chaotic race, a lot of good battles in the race. It was very, very interesting for sure. But now we get a little moment to rest before we will go through 2 more races. But before that, of course, another qualifying session. Before we do though, let's just go through those final results for race 1. Alfie Bevan taking the race win ahead of Johan Karlzak and James Lepavot in 3rd place. Jacob Hein in 4th ahead of Ash Hill in 5th. Uri Shore in P6. Anton Kankos, the winner in AMS, taking 7th place overall ahead of Sean McArdle and Lucas Smits rounding out the AM podium. Zach Silver will recover to 10th place after an opening lap instant with Alkswood in P11. Adam in 12th, have Ben Beams in 13th, Niels Brenson in 14th, Adam Ely in 15th, Stevie Bean in 16th, and DNFing from the race. Chronoblitz will be the last of our drivers. So, breaking the loneliness that I have here in the comms box, unfortunately, after missing the first race, it is Ben Myatt.
It is, yes. A very, very tired Ben Myers.
It's been a long day, has it?
Has a bit, yeah. I know I could have gone out in the first race, but I needed to rest my knee after driving back from Yorkshire. So it's been a bit of an evening.
Yeah, fair enough. Rest up, because races certainly look like they're going to be interesting. Races 2 and 3 coming up.
It's causing good action, this track, and I think it was a good pick from Jacob this one.
Yeah, it's a good track indeed. So, wheel time to draw reverse grid?
Yes. Let's
Let
give
us
it a go.
see. I think I actually need to give this. Sorry, give me one moment. I need to quickly update it. To make sure we have the right number for the 18 drivers we have this week. Now, let's see. Has it updated properly? No, I've not put in number 18. That would help. Right, now save. Refresh. And now Yes, we have 18. So, will it be top 10 reversed? Will it be all 18 drivers? Let's see. Oh, it's going to be another low number. We are going to have top 11 reversed for
Ooh,
this week.
that's going to make it interesting. It's definitely something to fight for the those of us who come at the back end of the field generally. So let's lock that in on the server, and we will be good to go.
Yeah, so top 11 being reversed. If that was for the race 1 results, it would have been Alex Wood starting on provisional pole. But of course, anything can happen. We're about to have a 5-minute warm-up session for drivers to get in our second server and maybe get back up speed if they had a bit of damage in that first race. A few drivers did find the walls around Road Atlanta here. And then 5-minute qualifying session to set the grid for our second 15-minute plus 1 lap race.
And I'm afraid I'm going to leave you again, Scotty. So enjoy the last couple races, because I've now got to try and survive the next two.
Well, good luck surviving the races.
Thank you very
Hope
much. I
they
think
go
I can
well.
survive anything this evening. Catch you later.
See you later, Ben. I think enjoying these second 2 races isn't too much of a question. It's whether my voice survives for them all by myself here. That is a little bit more. It depends how chaotic the races are, but I think we can guarantee that the third and final reverse grid race with the top 11, remember, being reversed, will certainly be very chaotic. As mentioned, I'll be about 6-7 minutes before our second qualifying session begins, as as our drivers have a little bit of warm up. So, yes, just preparing. So, as our drivers are in warm up, let's just head back to the track. So you can see 3.5 minutes of warm up remaining. We'll just watch on board with Pavot as they get back up to speed with a bit of practice. Tries to find just that little bit that was missing to them and Pavot and Alfie Bevan in the first race. Nearly had the lead of the race, nearly able to take advantage of Johan and Alfie fighting amongst themselves. But running wide out of the final corner meant that they were challenged into T1, pushing a little bit too hard, trying a little too hard. Ran wide a second time into corners. And ultimately costing them the potential race victory, at least the lead at that sort of halfway point in the race. So pole position was 146.610, if I remember correctly, from the first session. One day I'll remember to screenshot the quali times for the second qualifying session to have a reference, but today is not that day. It'll be interesting to see if the drivers are able to go a little bit quicker this time. Track is a bit warmer this session, 22 degrees ambient temperature, 31 degrees track temp. So a little bit warmer. That might make it a little bit more difficult, or it might help the tyres a little bit. I believe it is a medium compound that the drivers, well, I assume, are all running. There is also a hard tyre available to them, but I can't imagine it being of use with these short races. Let's see what time Pivot does here. It will be a 27.988. Maybe it was a 127.6 rather than... I said 46, didn't I? I was looking at the outlap times and like, oh yeah, that's roughly right. No, 127.6, I believe, is the time we're looking for. But yeah, 7 drivers currently on track for this warm-up session. A little bit wider from Pivot of the first apex in the S's. Nearly a quarter of a second up in the first sector. Looked like a clean run through turn 5 on the exit. Out of turn 7 now on the back straight. For it'll be their second final flying lap in warm-up. Lost 5 thousandths in the middle sector, but it'd still be nearly a quarter of a second up through the chicane. Lucas Smith's just in front of them. Coming up to the line. 127.7. Then, I believe, an improvement over their lap in the previous session. I still have Ben Beams on the track. Finishing a final warm-up lap. Yeah, Pivot, an improvement over their first quali time, I believe. Wouldn't be enough to get them pole position, though, for that first race. And of course, that all depends if Alfie Bevan is able to match their time from the first qualifying session. You're right, sure. With the 5-stream watch streak. Oh, thank you very much. Good to know you've been tuning in for the past week. And you're tuning into the other series we have across the week. Of course, it's not just a Cell Corsa we have here on Tuesdays. It is also the Mon Ultimate on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then iRacing on Thursday. Though it will be said, I will say now, there may not be a stream on Thursday. If you do like to tune in to our Club Challenge with the MX-5s on iRacing, with Aiden's PC issues, if he isn't able to get them resolved, there may not be a stream on Thursday, regrettably. Hopefully, fingers crossed, for his sake, he is able to get them sorted. But if not, yeah, we may unfortunately be missing Thursday for this week. So warm-up has come to a conclusion, and we're about to get underway for our second qualifying session of the evening. 5 minutes, half as long as the first session, which means a few less laps for our drivers. It'll be interesting to see if anyone is able to topple Alfie Bevan and get themselves on pole position for this race. If it's going to happen, it'll probably be either James Pivot or Johan Kralzak. But maybe someone else will just get a lap in when everyone else struggles a little bit. See the drivers starting to head out now. It is Pivot first out of the pits, and will have the cleaner after his warm-up laps. We'll have to wait and see how everyone does. Look at everyone as they now come through the S's. Let's just see everyone. All quite bunched up on this out lap. I'm sure they'll give themselves a little bit more space once they get to the final chicane. So we're looking for 27.6 for a potential pool time. 6:10 was our pool time from the first race. Let's go on board with Pivot once again as they come into the turn 10 chicane. For the first time in this qualifying session, drivers will have time for 3 flying laps this session. Let's see what times they can put in, starting with Pivot across the start-finish line, heading towards turn 1. Into the right-hander, rear end sliding, has to correct there. That's going to cost them a bit of momentum up the hill towards the S's now. Then into turn 3 and 4. Looks very neat and tidy over the curbs. Not taking too much of them, but carrying good speed. Good line into the S's. Through the left-hander, bouncing up on the inside curb a little bit. Maybe too much curb on the right-hand side. As I head to turn 6, able to get on the throttle a little bit earlier than some of the people we've seen in the first qualifying session. Neat and tidy through turn 7 as well, so it looks like a clean exit as well. Now the long flat out section, heading towards the chicane. Quicker in the middle sector. Looks very neat and tidy through the chicane. Good amount of curb used out of the chicane as well. So down to the final corner. Not using all of the track entering the final corner, shortening the distance a little bit. 127.9. Jacob Hein immediately into the 127.6s. Johan Krlzak, 127.1. Maybe it is a 26 from the first session, and I might be misremembering. But Adam Ide, much better time in this time, 128.0 up into P4. Sean McGardle nearly 8 tenths off, 128.799. Ben Beams, 129.0. So yeah, quite a few drivers not getting great first laps in or invaliding lap times. Neil Branson not having a lap yet. So yeah, a few people struggling. Let's get the sector times and see if anyone is improving. Adam Ely backing off for this lap. They'll try again for the final lap. But not many people improving. Yuri Shore is really big improvement. Just noticed Alfie Bevan looks to be on a bit of a slow lap here, on an out lap. So I think he's messed up his first lap, returned to the pits, and is now on an out lap again. This could be disastrous for Alfie Bevan if they're not able to get a lap in. They're going to be racing to the start-finish line, but they're sort of in amongst some of the AM drivers. There is another pro driver just in front of them. That looks like Stevie Bean, who's maybe fallen the same fate. Quite a bit of traffic here. Ash Hill bumps up to P6. Uri Shore is into P4. Looks like Adam Ely maybe with a little connection issue. Hopefully, yep, there they are. They're back, but that will be the end of their qualifying session. Adam up to P2 in the AM class, but P9 overall, 128.5. Neil Bernson gets their first flying lap on the board. Let's see, Ben Myatt, what lap time they're on here. They just missed the line. It's a 144.1, so they obviously made a mistake on that lap, and they just missed the finish line to go on for another lap. Alfie Bevan has got a lap, but they're in traffic. They're stuck behind. I think that is Kankos just in front of them, our AM race winner from race 1. Yeah, very interesting. Right, let's go back to the front. It is going to be Pavot, the next to complete their time. They are currently in second place, quarter of second slower than the pole time, not improving in the first sector. Gained a little bit of time back, but still down on their personal best lap through the final corner. It will be an improvement, but it will not be a faster lap. Zach Silver bumps up to P7. Uri Shore improves, but just misses out on getting into the top 3. Adam will be next car to cross the line. Can they break into the pros like what Adam Ide has done? They'll go pole in the AM class. They'll take P5 overall, not unless someone behind can beat them. Who does? It's Sean McGardle into the 27s will take P5. Kankos coming up to the line as everyone crosses the line at the final second. The session ends, and let me go through the times for the grid for race 2 because it is mixed up. Johan Karlzak will start on pole position. James Pavot on the inside of the front row. Jacob Hine in P3. Uri Shore in P4. Leading in pole position of the AMS class, Sean McGardle ahead of Adam Spakiewicz. I'm butchering that pronunciation, sorry. But they're in P6 ahead of the other Adam Ide in P7. So that is AMS in P5, P6, P7. Ash Hill is done in P8 ahead of Zach Silver in P9. Alfie Bevan in P10 from pole position and winning the first race. A lot of work to do this race. Stephen Bean starting from provisional reverse grid pole position. Remember, top 11 being reversed for our to set the grid for our final race. Ben Beams is in P12 ahead of AM race winner from race 1, Anton Kankos, down in 13th position. And that is P5 within the AMS class. Alex Wood is 14th. Lucas Smits is 15th. Chronoblitz 16th. Neil Spranson is in 17th. And Ben Myatt just missing, making a mistake on their final lap and thus not having the time to get a final lap in, will be starting last and 18th. They can only go up from there. Thank you, Stevie, for resubscribing the 10th month in a row. One of our lovely admins. Very friendly admin, must say. Always great to be chatting and working with Stevie within the admin group. Thank you for all your time and effort to oNiD and your support on the stream. Let's make sure we're watching the front row. It was second place that led the way into turn 1 in race 1. Will Pavot be able to repeat that for race 2? The lights are coming on. The engine revs rise once more. And we're green for the second race here at Road Atlanta. It's not a great start from Pavot. It's a good start from Johan, who leads into T1. Pavot coming under a little bit of pressure as they head towards T1, but looks like they have been able to survive. Sean McGardle is fight for the AMP lead. It's Sean McGardle and Adam Ide side by side, but they get a little tipped over each other. Someone's into the back of Adam Ide, sends him spinning. Sean McGardle was in the grass too, and the other Adam takes the lead within the AMPS class. It's already got a little bit messy as everyone bunched up into the chicane. Look, everyone, one car across the gravel on the exit of turn 6 there. That looks like it was Sean McGardle who's dropped back, and Alfie Bevan from 10th on the grade already up to P5, right on the bumper of Jacob Hine, pushing Jacob into turn 7. This is where we're going to see all the push to passes being used now as drivers make the long run from turn 7 to the chicane in the slipstream for Alfie Bevan. He's going to pull out, but it's going to be the outside entering the chicane. Meanwhile, the front of the field, contact between Pavot and Johan. Bit of a bump draft, and Pavot is going to back out of that one as they head into the chicane. Bevan with nose in front going into the chicane. squeezes Jacob to the inside. Jacob gonna try and get a cutback, gonna try and get the inside, gets the nose alongside as they head towards the final corner. Are they gonna keep it there for the final corner? No, they're gonna back out, and Alfie Bevan now secures P4. Zach Silver, meanwhile, challenging on the back of Ash Hill, having got past the AM drivers, and is looking to the inside, sending it to the inside at T1. Not a common overtaking opportunity. It'll be side by side into the S's. Zach caught on the inside curb. Ash Hill round the outside, carries the momentum and leaves Zach vulnerable to Adam, who leads the AMPS class currently, to Sean McGardle. Alex Wood up in P3 in the AMPS as Lucas Smits and Chronoblitz having issues, having a crash within the AMPS field, which is still fairly compact. So then, Alfie Bevan already over 3 seconds, about 3.5 seconds off the lead of this race, using push to pass to try and get themselves alongside Uri Shore, who's also used theirs a little bit later in response to Alfie's. That's allowed Alfie to draw alongside. It'll be the outside once again as they head towards the chicane. Can it be a rinse and repeat, or will Uri be that little bit braver on the brakes? It's a rinse and repeat. Alfie Bevan taking P3 with the outside into the chicane. Now 3 seconds to go and catch Pavot and Johan Karlzak to fight for the lead. Jacob Hound trying to take advantage here, side by side on the inside of Shorey through the final corner, not able to carry the momentum, and Alfie Bevan has had a really poor run here as Jacob and Uri fighting amongst themselves, using their push to passes. Trying it round the outside is Uri there. It doesn't quite work out. Doesn't lose too much time though. Needs to get it slowed down, runs in very deep to the first part of the chicane, and Ash Hill is going to take advantage and take P5 from Jorge. Zach Silver right now on the back of this train is thinking, how can they get involved and take P6 from Shorey there. Needs a good exit from turn 5, but looks like everyone has kept it clean this time round. No opportunities into turn 6. Still further back, Kankos, after winning the AMPS class in the first race, trying to make up places. 5th in the AMPS class at the moment, P12 overall on the back of Ben Beams. But we'll go back to the fight within Pro. Zach Silver closing up and getting alongside Uri Shore. We'll see all the pushed passes go into cool down. So can Zach Silver repeat what Alfie Bevan has done the last couple of laps? Has the nose in front, has nearly cleared over that by the time they get into the braking zone. Uri Shore trying to hang out on the inside, a little bit of a bump on the apex, but they're still side by side on the exit. Looks like Uri Shore with the outside of the second part is going to carry the momentum on the exit. Side by side entering the final corner can be difficult, but Zach Silver is going to back out as Uri Shore using a push to pass to get themselves back in front. And some of the drivers behind also using push to pass out of the chicane. So it seems to be the two common spots for a push pass, either out of turn 7 down the back straight or out of the chicane towards the final corner. Ash Hill getting in front of Jacob Hine, who I think made a mistake there through the first corner and has subsequently lost P4. Meanwhile, a little further up in front, Alfie Bevan not able to close in on Johan Karlzak as Pavot, we've completely missed this, has taken the lead of the race from Johan last lap around. Pavot leading ahead of Johan. They still have 4.2 seconds over Alfie Bevan, who is dropping back. And it's not like Alfie Bevan is saving those pushed passes. He's still using them, but having started further back on the grid, he has one more. With the slipstream, Johan is attacking Pavot for the lead of the race. Looking to the outside here, though hasn't got the nose in front, and it has to slot in behind for the second part. Not far enough alongside. Let's go to Zach Silver, who's on the back of Uri Shore, who's starting to drop off the back of Jacob Hine. Uri using a push to pass on the exit here of the chicane, again towards the final corner, just to try and defend. Zach running a little bit wide, dipping a wheel into the grass, won't cost them too much, but not too ideal. And annoyingly, the sort of back end of this pro fight is backing the leaders of the AMPS class together. As Adam having a little look on Zach there, but not able to make a move. I'm sure they'd love to put a car between them and their closest challenger. But again, it can be risky as Sean McGardle makes a mistake through the S's, runs wide into the gravel, and that gifts Alex Wood second place within the AMPS class. Now, Adam still putting the pressure, looking to the inside of Zach. Very opportunistic move there. And will not be able to get the move done. But with the slipstream towards the chicane, might have an opportunity, though that's sort of looking to turn 7, just compromising their exit. And so they're not quite close enough, not unless they won't go for a really brave move into the chicane. They're going to have to hold in line for now. Matt Holman loving this racing. I am too. My throat isn't. It's already starting to struggle a little bit. But we'll get through the second half of this race, just ticking over the halfway mark. Gap at the front. Pavot has pulled out a little bit of a gap, though Johan was a 10th quicker last lap around, so is closing in a little bit as the drivers still continuing to use their pushed passes. We've seen 12 laps in the first race. I assume we will get 12 laps again in the second race. So the drivers will be able to use a push to pass once every lap and a second push to pass for 3 of the laps. Johan, really good run out of the S's in turn 5. Has a look to the inside turn 6. Not quite close enough to take advantage of that run. Adam Ely and Ben Beams having an incident at turn 5. A little coming together. Ben Beams getting stuck in the gravel, but will continue on before Stevie Bain is able to catch up and take 13th place from them. Let's go on board with Johan. Seems like a case of these drivers similarly matched on pace, but just have their strong points throughout the lap. Johan drops back a little bit at some stages, and Pavot opens the gap at others. But meanwhile, Ash Hill, looks like Ash has maybe made a mistake. The gap didn't look that small coming into the chicane, but Jacob Hine has gone front, and Uri Shore is now on the back. Look at that, Alfie Bevan, fastest lap of the race. They were 9/10ths quicker than Johan that lap. Starting to close that gap down, but notably Johan saving a push to pass that lap. So trying to, different strategy on the push to pass to try and have an advantage later on in the race. Uri Shore running wide into turn 3 there. We'll drop it back a bit from Ash Hill, but the field just starting to spread out a little bit. But we've got Stevie Bain trying to make a move on Ben Beams after that incident with Adam Ely. Stevie leaving plenty of space on the apex at turn 3. Get through cleanly and up to 13th place. 6 seconds now for Stevie Bain to catch up to Adam Ely. And hopefully those two won't have another coming together as they did in the first race. We'll go back to the fight for the lead. Johan using a push to pass this lap to try and close that gap down once again. They've got themselves that advantage of pushed passes remaining over Pavot. Can they close the gap and use it to their benefit? Ooh, they're using it now out of the chicane, intriguingly. 7 laps down, 5 laps to go. Look at that, nearly 2/10ths quicker was Johan than Pavot. Closing down the lead, Alfie only matching the top times that lap. So interesting to see how the lap times have sort of ebbed and flowed. Both Pavot and Johan having a bit of a slow lap last time around, but picking the pace back up on the last lap. Someone who's been using quite a few of their pushed passes. Oh, wide there for Pavot, a mistake. Seems like Pavot is struggling with that turn 5, but is doing well through the rest of the lap to make up for it. Turns 6 and 7. Can Johan get a good enough exit? Certainly has closed in. There go the pushed passes as Sean McGardle making a move on Alex Wood. One of the drivers who's burnt their pushed passes, only has 4 remaining in the race. passed by Sean McGardle for second within the AMS class. Both of them using push to pass on the exit. Johan closing up and forcing Pavot to go defensive in the braking zone for the chicane. Both of them pull it up for the first apex. Opening up the second apex. Johan trying to get the run. Both of them immediately on the push to pass again. They're trying to go through these push to passes, knowing the end of the race is not too far along. Johan, fastest lap of the race, has a run out of the final corner to the inside. Will try and take the lead. Pavot trying to hold it on the outside, will still be alongside, and they'll be side by side entering the S's. Johan, though, backing out of it, maybe thinking that they weren't going to get the move, and instead of going side by side through turn 3, going single file, not losing more time, not letting Alfie Bevan close up, who, by the way, was only 6 thousandths of a second slower than Johan last lap. Both those are the fastest 2 laps of the race so far, as they try and chase down and pass Pavot for the lead of this race. Johan still following around for the first half of this lap, closing in though, bouncing over that inside curb through turn 7. Has it just compromised them slightly? Will they be close enough to force Pavot to defend this time around? Slipstream is allowing Johan to close in, so Pavot will defend the inside once more. How aggressive will Johan be on the outside? Not so aggressive this time. Again, maybe setting up for the exit. Do we see? Yes, on push to pass again. Alfie Bevan too as well through the final corner. And it looks like Johan is just a little more comfortable through the final corner. Is going to get alongside as Alfie Bevan. Fastest lap of the race, still closing in. Is it rinse and repeat as the previous lap? It is indeed. Pavot a little bit stronger this time around. As 3 laps to go here. Time is running out. Meanwhile, Sean McGardle is closing up to Adam for the lead of the AMS class and has 2 more push to passes to use. That could be very useful here, as this race is going to go down to the line for both the class victories. So it will. And hopefully my voice will last till we get to that finish line. You're right, sure. Also closing in on Ash Hill for 5th place overall. Back to the lead as they head down the the back straight once more. Johan pulling out once more a little bit earlier, has himself a little further alongside and gets the nose in front this lap around. Can they complete the move on the outside, entering the chicane inside for the second part? And it looks like move done, but can Pavot come back? Decides to save a push to pass here. That could leave them vulnerable to Alfie Bevan, who's coming quickly through the final corner and has well and truly caught up to this lead fight. And it truly is a 3-way fight for the lead. 3 laps to go. Can Alfie Bevan make 2 laps to go. Can Alfie Bevan make 2 moves for the lead of the race? Yuri Shore and Ash Hill fighting side by side into turn 1. Yuri Shore with the inside going into the corner. Ash Hill trying to get the cutback, is looking into the S's, but with only the nose up the inside, has to back out of it. Fight for the lead in AMS. Contact, it looks like. Sean McGardle heading to the barrier. Will drop down to P3. Hopefully doesn't look to have picked up too much damage, and will carry on in 3rd place within the AMS class. Adam Ely has had a mistake and a crash of their own. Heavy damage, and will be struggling for the rest of the race. Will drop down the order, unfortunately, once more for them. Alfie Bevan, while we were watching, has made a move on Johan for 2nd place and is now challenging Pavot for the lead. Pavot, though, has 1 more push to pass than Alfie Bevan for the final lap of the race. Who's going to use the push to pass here out of the chicane? The cooldown runs out. All of them are saving the push to pass. Last lap then, and Alfie Bevan with just a little lag moment there, scaring us. could not be any closer to the rear bumper of Peugeot entering this final lap, and as such actually compromises their run. And look at that, that allows Peugeot to get a little further in front. Cankos challenging Sean McArdle for second place, and a mistake. Adam sideways across the track from the lead in the AMS class has given Alex Wood the lead, who has immediately gone deep into turn 3 and has had to cut the course. I think has maybe gained some time there. Chronoblitz has returned to the pits once more. Have they underfueled again? Question mark, but that's 2 races in a row. They've returned to the pits. On to the back straight for the final time. Peugeot has a half a second margin as they all use their push to pass, and Peugeot has a push to pass in hand. Cankos making a move on Sean McArdle for second within the AMS class, having only qualified in P5, like 8 cars behind the AMS leader. It's been a good recovery for them, but Peugeot having to withstand the pressure will come through and take victory in race 2 here at Road Atlanta. Alfie Bevan will recover from 10th to 2nd. Johan Karlzak will drop to 3rd. The fight for 2nd place carries on. Sean back up to P2. Hard defending to the inside into the chicane. On the exit, does Cankos have anything for the final corner? It doesn't seem like it. Alex Wood will take the AMS victory. Sean McArdle will take 2nd. Cankos will recover to 3rd after a poor qualifying. What a race, and it's not quite done yet. Adam Ide and Ben Myatt having one final fight. Adam limping with the damage. Looks like an easy place for Ben Myatt to take at the end. Well, there we can see the winners and losers. Johan from pole position got the start, led into turn 1, but not able to hold it for the rest of the race. Alfie, a good charge through the race, a good start, got up into P5 on the opening lap. That really set themselves to fight for the lead at the end there. Unfortunately, not quite able enough to take the lead, but they certainly tried their best. What could have been for Johan and Alex Wood, I want to say that might be their first class victory for Alex Wood. So well done to them. While other drivers made mistakes or got caught up in incidents, they held their own, kept it clean, and yeah, taking the class victory there. Up 6 places overall. Well done to them. Sean McArdle will be a bit disappointed. So will Adam down in P11, as well as Adam Ely with that incident after a good qualifying on the opening lap. Nothing that Adam could do, just the concertina through turn 3 on the opening lap. Seeing them lose out. And the push to pass coming into play. Cankos saying at the end of the race that they wish they'd pushed to pass. That was the difference apparently between them and Sean McArdle on who got 2nd place within the AMS class. 30 horsepower, it may not sound like a lot, but it can just make the difference. So, as we go into the third and final race, of course, we have a reverse grid. It is the top 11 we are reversing. So let's just run through that order of the second race results. It's James Lepaveau taking the win, ahead of Alfie Bevan, Johan Karlzak in 3rd, Jacob Hind in 4th, Uri Shore in 5th, Ash Hill in 6th, Zach Silver in P7. Alex Wood takes the win in AMS, P8 overall, with Sean McArdle in 9th, Anton Cankos in 10th, and Adam unpronounceable in P11 and taking reverse grid pole position for race 3 coming up. Stevie Bain would just miss out in 12th position with Ben Beams in 13th. Niels Brenson in 14th, Evelyn Smith in 15th. Ben Myatt in 16th with Adam Ely dropping to 17th. And Chrono Blitz, once again, returning to the pits with just a couple of laps to go. Hopefully we can see them finish this third race. Yeah, not sure what has been taking them, what has been causing their issues this race, or this evening. So the grid then for race 3, it is Adam from P11 to pole position. Anton Kankos will be on the inside of the front row in prime position to try and take the lead if they get a good start. Sean McGardle in 3rd, Alex Wood in 4th, Zach Silver P5, Ash Hill will stay in P6. Yuri Short will be in P7, Jacob Hine P8, Johan Karlzak in P9th. Alfie Bevan for the second race in a row will be starting from P10. And James Le Pavot will be in 11th place. Alright, let me just make sure we have the right car lined up. So, for the third and final time this evening, we will go racing for 12 laps. Lights will come on, the engines will rise, and we think carnage will ensue. Away we go then for the final race, and it's a really good start from the orange car in the mid-pack. Not the greatest of starts from Kankos in 2nd. They're being challenged into T1 by Sean McGardle, who's going to try to hang it around the outside, but instead it's Zach Silver who's trying to take advantage on the inside. Big sideways movement for Alex Wood. That's going to drop them down the order, but they carry on. No damage, hopefully. And will hopefully be able to make some places back up. Ashhill slots into P4 as Sean McGardle having a difficult start, down 3 places already. Alfie Bevan was the fantastic start from 10th to 5th in one sector alone. They're looking to repeat the second race but go 1 place further. Johan is only in P8. Pavot is still down in 11th place. Side by side between Kankos on the inside of Zach Silver through turn 6 into turn 7, backing the field up. A little bit bumping in the background as they make their way down the back straight. Kankos, the only driver not to use a push to pass here, trying to save one that will allow Alfie Bevan to take P4. But Kankos will be hoping they don't lose any more places. Side by side between Ash Hill and Zach Silver for second places. Pavot up into P10. Karlzak up to 7th place in the braking zone. Zach Silver much later on the brakes will hold on to P2. Ash will have to hold on to P3 as a lot of changing positions. Couple of cars in the gravel. It's Johan Karlzak and Sean McGardle, 2 quick drivers in the respective classes, both coming to strife. And Alfie Bevan into the pits. It wasn't a good start, it was a jump start, and will take a drive-through penalty for it. Sean McGardle, quite a bit of damage there, will be probably end up struggling for the rest of this race as Ben Beams and Yuri Shore have found the grass on the outside of T1. A lot of damage to Ben Beams' car, and they have another little bump through turn 3. Back then up front, a lot of chaos on the opening lap. Adam leads the way in AMS and overall. Zach Silver leads the way in pros as they all use their push passes for the second time down the back straight. No one really close enough to be attacking on this second lap. Sort of settling down a little bit, calm down a little bit. Also, as you can see in top right, temperatures have dropped a little bit in this for this third and final race. 13 degrees ambient, 16 degrees track temp. I could just make a little different, just change how much you're able to push the cars. Maybe that'll help some drivers. Maybe it will cause some others to struggle. Ash Hill on the pushed pass out of the chicane obviously has the run. Zach Silver just defending the inside. Ashel thinking about a dive into turn 1 causes Zach Silver to make a mistake, run it in deep onto the grass, who finds the wall on the outside of the first corner, and that is going to bring a struggle to the rest of the race. Stevie Bain once in on the fun as well, also taking to the grass. Niels Brenson taking 3rd place within the AMS class ahead of Lucas Mintz, who maybe ran wide themselves as well. Zach now struggling with that damage, trying to fend off from Stevie Bain for 4th place within the pro class. Let's see if Stevie is able to make a move. He'll be the outside of turn 6. Much later on the brakes. Can Stevie keep on the road? No, runs in too deep. And Zach Silver will hold on for now. But with that damage, you can't imagine he'll be holding on for too much longer. On the back straight, that damage might hinder Zach's top speed, which will be a disaster if they want to hold on to P6. Zach holding on for now on P6 as Pavot makes a move on Jacob Hound for 2nd place within the pro class, 4th place overall. Johan Karlzak up to P10 now and fighting Niels Branson to try and take P9 through the final corner. Lucas Smith is going to take advantage, take the final place in the top 10 overall. As Johan now on the back of Adam Ide as Stevie Bain trying to get the move done inside of turn 3. Comes together with Zach Silver on the apex. But that will allow Stevie Bain to take 6th position. Further back, Johan not able to make the move on Adam Ide just yet. A little bit of a wobble for Adam through turn 5. That's going to give Johan the run towards turn 6, but it's going to be the outside. How hard will Adam fight this, being in 2 different classes? Adam is keeping the nose in. There's not giving this one up for free. Johan hangs it around the outside of turn 6. Now turn 7. Adam a little too tight on the apex, bounces over the curb, but Johan runs a bit wide onto the grass, which compromises them too. That allows Zach Silver and Stevie Bain to pull away a little bit further in front. As defending for the lead, Adam on Ash Hill. Ash Hill trying to get the exit of the chicane through the final corner. Adam running defensive, 8/10 quicker was Ash Hill. Outside of T1, you can make this move work by carrying the momentum, and Ash Hill does make it work. Takes the lead of the race. Uri Shore making a move on Ben Mai a little further back. And Zach Silver tries to make a move on Stevie Bain. Not able to get alongside for turn 3. And Alfie Bevan up to 13th place ahead of Ben Myatt now in that recovery after the drive-through penalty for jumping the start. We go on board with Johan dives to the inside of Zach Silver on the inside turn 6. Zach sees it coming, leaves the space on the inside, tries to hang around the outside turn 7, but Johan on the shorter distance, able to get the move done. Stevie sees the fighting. I was going to say saves the push to pass, eventually does decide to use it a little later on in the straight. Sean McGardle up to 5th place in the AMS class, getting a move done on Niels Branson. Using a push to pass, Niels deciding to save one this time around. Niels looking to the inside, thinking about moving to the chicane, but deciding better as Adam Ide is now trying to make a move on Zach Silver. Ben nudging towards final corner as they fight over the same track position. Adam gets the move done and gets up to 8th overall. Couple of cars running wide. That's Johan and Stevie Bain, who isn't able to get the car slowed down for turn 3. Will have to cut across the grass. Adam Ide getting a move done on Johan. And up to 7th place, Johan dropping to 9th place now, as Sean McGardle makes a move on Lucas Mitz, up to P4 within the AMS class, and Alfie Bevan following through, taking P11 overall. Zach Silver, good run out of turn 7, trying to come back on Adam Ide, but Johan with a better run than all three of them, making it 3 wide. Adam doesn't have the momentum, drops back into line. Johan with the nose in front. Surely it will be move done for them. Adam Ide thinks better of trying to come back, but breaking move there. Alfie Bevan sending it to the inside. Sean McGardle getting themselves up to 10th position. Next up, it's Adam Ide. A bit of a wobble on the exit curb of the final corner there for Alfie. Into T1. Carrying a lot more speed than Adam Ide. Looks to the outside of turn 3. And, they come together a bit. And Adam Ide finds the grass. Big grass you really don't want to find, as you've seen there. Adam Ide coming to a dead stop on the grass. Anti-corner cutting measure. And anti-takeout measure, I suppose, as well, of turn 3 on this track. Fortunately for Adam Ide, costing them a lot of places, dropping to 14th overall, P6 within the AMS class. Alfie Bevan 7th within the Pro class, but is on the back of a few Pro cars. Could get themselves up to P4. Just under 5 minutes plus 1 lap remains. As the leaders come up to cross the line. Adam, despite being in the AMS class compared to Ash Hill in the Pro class, keeping the pressure on for the lead. Closed up with a 10th faster last lap, but you can see Pavot, personal best lap of the race, closing in, and Abden going for a move down the inside of Ash Hill into turn 1. Not able to carry the momentum, and that compromises both of them. Pavot looking for a gap into turn 3, but Adam just closes the door. Look at Pavot not even using their push to passes, still has 11 remaining for the rest of the race, as Alfie Bevan making a move on Zach Silver out of turn 1. Gets it done for turn 3, runs a little bit wide, has compromised their line. Could allow Zach Silver to try and come back here. Side by side, they have a wheel-to-wheel contact as they push each other through the S's. Zach Silver getting back in front for turn 5, just holding up Alfie, letting the cars in front, Johan and Stevie, to run away, potentially making things easier for them later in the race. Adam Ide making a move on Niels Berntsen out of turn 5 and gets back up into 5th place within the AMS class. As Pavot now, with a great run on Adam in the AMS class, gets themselves up to 2nd overall, and will have 4 laps to try and take the lead from Ash Hill. Make it 2 out of 3 for this evening, having won the previous race. Alfie Bevan on the push to pass out of the chicane, trying to get themselves to the inside of Zach Silver for the final corner. It will get themselves there. Leave Zach the space, and with that acceleration advantage of 30 horsepower, is up to P8 now, 3.8 seconds to try and chase down Johan. As we go back to the lead, Pavot on the rear bumper of Ash Hill. Towards turns 6 and 7. Pavot, 5 more pushed passes than Ash Hill, as Carl Zach makes a move on Stevie Bain, gets themselves up to P6 overall, 4th within the Pro class. Notice Pavot just leaving their push to pass usage a little bit later than Ash Hill, the slipstream helping get them alongside, entering the braking zone. Nose in front for Pavot, outside for the first part, doesn't get too aggressive, allows Ash Hill to hold on to the place for now. And predictably, Peugeot using their pushed pass out of the chicane. There aren't many laps left. 3 laps to go. Peugeot can basically use his button whenever he wants to, and it isn't on cooldown. Adam making a mistake, running wide onto the curb on the exit of T1. Luckily, had a good advantage to Jacob Hein behind, but of course Jacob closing up, sensing an opportunity to take a podium overall. And look at that one mistake on the exit of T1, compromising Adam through the whole S's, as Peugeot challenging for the lead. Ashhill defending the inside. Adam's going to have a tough time trying to hold on to 3rd place. Only one more push to pass for the remainder of the race. 2.5 laps to go. Peugeot not getting a great exit out of the final corner this time. A little bit further back. Is closing in further behind Jacob Hein, using that push to pass. Will get in front of Adam for 3rd place overall. Peugeot challenging Ashhill, not able to get in front just yet. Both of them using a push to pass on the exit of the chicane. 2 laps to go. Ashhill with only 2 push to passes remaining. Peugeot with a bit of a run here, is looking to the inside. Backside of the move though. Johan Karlzak in front of Adam now, who's made another mistake and is dropped behind Anton Kankos for the lead of the AMS class. Zach Silver getting themselves up to P9 overall. And Stevie Bain is going to be putting pressure on Adam now. Doesn't want to lose time here as Alfie Bevan is closing up. But running through turn 5, runs wide, gets on to the gravel. And that's certainly going to help Alfie Bevan close up. Tries to use the push pass to make up for the mistake. But the time ultimately is lost. For the lead then, Peugeot already alongside. Does Peugeot have enough momentum to clear Ashhill before the braking zone? Is squeezing Ashhill over to the inside. Ashhill's going to keep the nose to the inside, but Peugeot then will have the inside for the second part. Just about leaving Ashhill enough space on the exit. Ashhill can't use their final push to pass just yet. And so Peugeot with those 4 push to pass, or 5 coming out of the chicane remaining, using one of them to help keep themselves in front for the lead. Last lap. You have to imagine, with how many push passes they have remaining, Peugeot will be able to hold on with the lead here. Exiting turn 5, you can see how much he's pushing, still running right up to the gravel. But importantly, not into the gravel. We'll go on board with Ashhill as they chase down. Can they retake the lead onto the back straight? Both of them onto their push to passes. But importantly, it is Ashhill's final push to pass. Lucas Smith's getting P3 from Sean McArdle. And Alfie Bevan getting the move done on Stevie Bain on the final lap. Ashhill not able to come back with the slipstream towards the chicane. And with another push pass, it's James Peugeot who'll make it 2 out of 3 here at Road Atlanta, taking victory in the final race ahead of Ashhill. Jacob Hein taking the final podium place. Johan Karlzak recovering up to P4. Alfie Bevan will take 5th place within the pro class as Anton Kankos takes the win in the amateur class. Adam in 2nd, just few too many mistakes having led the race overall in the first half. Too many mistakes dropped them back. Lucas Vents will take the final podium position in the AMS class. Sean McArdle losing out on that final lap. And what was a very chaotic, very dramatic race. Unfortunately, Adam Ely disconnecting partway through the race, and Krona Blitz finding themselves in the pits a bit earlier this race. By halfway through the race, unfortunately for them. But another very entertaining race from start to finish. The reverse grid throwing up chaos as anticipated. But some great racing in and amongst that. Just Ben Beams to cross the line now. So they come through the final corner, running a little bit wide. But yeah, that is our third and final race of the evening. All done and dusted. What a set of races we had. So let's go through that final finishing order from race 3. James Pavot taking the win. Back-to-back victories. Ashhill in second, losing out on the penultimate lap. Jacob Hine taking P3. Johan Karlzak recovering to P4 after running off the track early on on the opening lap, dropping down quite a bit. So not a bad recovery from then. Anton Kankos will take the win in AMS, P5 overall, taking advantage of a few mistakes from Adam, who was comfortably leading the AMS class, but threw it all away with a few laps to go. Alfie Bevan jumping the start, getting themselves a drive-through penalty. Certainly made things difficult for them, but they'd recover to 7th overall, 5th within the Pro Class, 6th within Pro Class. Stevie Bain losing out on that final lap to Bevan. Zach Silver would be P7. And Jory Shore rounding out the Pro Class in P8 and 10th overall. Lucas Vents P11 and 3rd, that final podium place within the AMS class. Sean McArdle losing out on the final lap and will have to sell for 4th place in class. Niels Brenson in 5th, Alex Wood in P6, Ben Might in P7, Ben Beams in P8. Adam Ely unfortunately disconnecting late on. We'd see them in P9, and Krona Blitz returning to the pits with half the race remaining. We'd be last for the 3rd consecutive race. Well, that was some fantastic racing action. Road Atlantis certainly delivered. Brilliant track, brilliant racing. It's a lot to live up for. For Watkins Glen, classic short. Two things there. Yes, Watkins Glen, another great track. That long run from turn 1 up through the S's then towards what would normally be the bus stop. But as we're running classic, there is no bus stop. It'll be straight into the fast right-hander, the outer loop with no inner loop chicane. And of course, you will hold right on the exit to take the short layout. Cut out the boot section, head straight to the penultimate corner, the fast left-hander and fast right-hander. Very high-speed track. Should be a lot of fun. Make for some good racing before we head back to a couple more tighter and more technical tracks. Zolder for the penultimate round and Club Motorsports, our final round of the season. But yes, this higher speed American section is in the middle of the series. The first part is certainly delivered. Let's see what Watkins Glen throws our way next week. A lot of places to use push to pass as well. Could see some very interesting strategies or some variations. I'm looking forward to see what happens there. As well as we mentioned a little earlier in stream, we have our other series in the week tomorrow. I will be back, hopefully with someone alongside me. It'll be Tyler Hammer alongside me. For the SimHound Academy Cup on the Mon Ultimate, we're heading to Portimao, a difficult technical track with a lot of elevation, a lot of difficult crests. Will be very difficult for the LMP3 drivers with no ABS. Oh, and to make things a little more difficult, it's also going to be raining tomorrow. So if you want to see it really, or more rookie, inexperienced drivers thrown in at the deep end, yeah, join us tomorrow from 8 o'clock UK time for Portimao. On Thursday, as I mentioned, we might not, depending on if Aidan can fix his PC issues. If he can, we will have the iRacing Club Challenge with the MX-5s, but we may not. Hopefully, Aidan's PC is fixed. If it is, they'll be heading to Lime Rock for some racing action. Very short track shoot, quite high-speed track. Good slipstreaming opportunities. That'd be a good fun race in the MX-5s that always deliver. Then on Sunday, not on stream. Unfortunately, not able to stream, but we have returned to ACC, back in the game with the GT3s. They are heading to Zolder this Sunday. A track, of course, we'll see in the TT Cup a little later this series. But this week, yes, the GT3s will be heading to Zolder for all the fun and chicanes alike. Then next Monday, Ben Myatt and Tom Toseland will be back on the Mon Ultimate for the OLMS series with the LMP2 cars and GT3 multi-class action. And we're all heading to Monza. Very high-speed track, and if it wasn't high-speed enough, we're heading to the Curva Grande out. Missing the first chicane, turn 1 becomes Curva Grande itself. Flat out to normally second chicane of the lap becomes the first braking zone of the lap. It'll be very interesting with the slipstreaming opportunities, as after a very chaotic and wet race at Le Mans yesterday. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how our drivers fare there. Hopefully, the GT3s can survive Curva Grande while being passed by those pesky LMP2 cars. So that is going to be it for this evening. My voice has well and truly had it. And it's going to be great tomorrow. Tyler, if you're watching, which he's not, he's doing the coaching session for our rookies, you're going to be talking a lot. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow at Portimao. But yeah, thank you all very much for joining me tonight. Hope you all loved that great racing. Hopefully, we can see you later this week for some more great racing action and into next week. And remember, if you want to sign up, a couple of our series still have spots open. Make sure you join our Discord, find out what's happening, and follow us on SimGrid so you can see and sign up to all of our events. Like our ACCs on Sundays, they definitely have a few spots left. But yeah, thank you again very much. Hope you'll have a good rest of your Tuesday evening. Have a good week. And until next time, take care. Good night.